A small legal challenge has turned into a precedent-setting case about whether someone in today's Britain can be prioritised or denied housing on the basis of their religion. The law isn't always right, and it's not just the people who can be taken hostage, it is said. But in a fairly disgraceful decision deemed legitimate by the UK's highest court, a single mother with 4 children was refused social housing because she wasn't a Jew. It's that simple. The charity Agudas Israel Housing Association, AIHA, interesting, owns 470 houses in the London borough of Hackney, and local authorities promised in October of 17 the next available home to the woman and her kids, 2 of whom are autistic. AIHA refused to hand over the keys to any of its 6 4-bedroom apartments or homes or unoccupied flats. Their argument was it makes offers only to members of the Jewish community. As Britain is a secular nation, the woman's legal team found this claim astonishing and argued it had the same sentiment as the "no dogs, no blacks, no Irish" signs that were once displayed in the UK pubs. Lord Sales stated that the charity's use of positive discrimination was lawful under the Equality Act 2010 in order to correct the disadvantage faced by the community. The issue apparently was not racism, but discrimination on the grounds of religious observance. The court considered the widespread and increasing overt anti-Semitism in our society. Intolerance or hate speech of any form is unacceptable, but it's hard to believe the courts and public reaction would have been the same if this had been an Islam or a group of Pashtuns from the Iranian border region. Jewish affairs are treated differently. And what it was said, there is a kid's glove approach and they're deemed to be culturally valuable, while other communities are sometimes dismissed as interlopers. Now, AIHA's founder, Ita Simonson, speaking last year about the legal action, offered the view which non-Jewish person, honestly speaking, wants to live in the midst of a building full of Haredi men up with beards and chanting on a Friday night on all the children. Really? And this is what's going on. The top end of Britain is run by these same Hebrew Anunnaki psychopaths. They just seem to think everything and everyone belongs to them. In fact, he told us so in the Talmud. But those who consider themselves in the modern day as Semites are the most racist group of people upon this planet by some distance. Period. And we have to quit feeding their pity party tactics and wake up to what is really going on here. This group is backed by, supported and used by those who have hunted down the real oppressed on this planet, the whites, for thousands of years. But it's all people as well, just that group more than any other. And the last show on Tuesday revealed that fact a bit further, supported by various anecdotes in our From Russia with Love series. You can't have a house in England unless you are Jewish. Oh my. Something else that has arisen this week, and yes, I will get called out again for daring to ask a question or a few, but this has to be said and questioned based on her own words in recent shows. We are all about the truth, Kim and Tank stated, and I welcome that. But there are serious gaps between the narrative that rolls on week to week with little to no recourse, and debate when questions are asked. They are stifled or blocked. If they weren't, I would not have to do these pieces highlighting various discrepancies that are going on week after week. And please don't delude yourselves that it's only the Tiny Man and THI members thinking this, because it's just not. I have written 5 or 6 pieces for shows in the past 2 months about Life Force and never put one of those in the show, as we ended up with more important things to cover than one just group, who are playing childlike games of let's see how many times we can reference myself or THI without naming them. And this is supposed to be the people's answer to the mainstream media. Kim and Tank can continue to take veiled swipes at me and our show, but we have always answered questions when safe to do so. And so it's very disingenuous to talk of all-inclusive, and we can agree to disagree on things and should talk and settle differences like adults when your own actions are 100% to the contrary. Accountability and truth never fears investigations. And yet it is staggeringly awry with this group, and that is my main concern and contention, not the personalities. If truth is your goal and target, then please start answering the valid questions many people are asking and stop rolling over it like you have something to hide week after week. I want your show to work. But this unsecret society now has not mild concerns, but gaping chasms of concerns. If the truth is the primary goal here, and we can clear up some discrepancies, then Kim will not mind appearing on a question and answer show with me, and let's see if we can clear this mess up. And then go forward with real clarity and not the muddy waters it currently portrays. So there is your opportunity, Kim, to show the all-inclusive you stated, an opportunity to be in and of the truth, an opportunity to talk together like adults that you stated around the 14 or 15 minute mark in your recent show. By coming on a show and being what you have stated, based solely on the narrative, not the personalities involved. Now, Kim stated in recent podcasts about certain bank transfers. Firstly, to the Israel Bank, who are under investigation and have been charged by the DOJ. Secondly, the public's transfer money, was yet again sent over to the Morgan Chase Bank in New York, who have also been investigated and charged by the DOJ for various infractions over time, including some recently. Thirdly, now Kim reveals she sent money to a Santander bank in Mexico, who she stated have been corrupt for a while, and she was aware of it, and that bank are involved in child trafficking, and yet sent the trust money to the said bank and now states the money is lost. Questions have to be asked here of what the hell is going on over there. Kim is the guardian of what belongs to the people, and the people are entitled to ask relevant questions. Question 1 is, why is the trustee sending trust funds to seemingly banks that are all under investigation for fraud or recently charged with fraud? 2. How and why, with the quantum system, is money suddenly now being lost? It was always recoverable. What is the difference now? Are you no longer able to operate the quantum system? 3. Who or what is running the trustee these days? As each week now, more and more bizarre narratives are being spat out to an increasingly disbelieving public. 4. Where is the accountability, and why does their show repeatedly now contain excerpts of narratives I have written not from past shows, but from future or impending shows? Oops. These are valid questions that require answering to the public they state to serve. But it was interesting that Kim is stating it needed 3 keys to get money out of the 5-Star Trust, and described a lock and key. Oh my, that has so many connotations to that. So what she is describing with the 3 keys is something I revealed to her along with the lock and key, is the one-on-one with the one, which I stated operated on more than one level. Kim had the 3 people keys required and chose to go with the one. The question remains as to why. Kim then described the sheer contempt of the underground dwellers has for the service people, and yes, she is correct. She spoke of the contempt of them discussing how they just would eliminate the surface dwellers. But this is against the backdrop of how she has told us all she has wiped out the black nobility, all the top Rothschilds, all the top Black Sun, all the top bankers, and now all of the DUMBs, military underground bases, with millions of people in there, including hundreds of thousands of workers, as well as slaves. Should that be true, and I have reason to believe it is not, these are staggering claims that brings up several questions. 1. Who was involved in the discussion to delete all those people and other beings below ground? 2. Who carried out this attack? 3. Why wasn't the enforcement team she claims to have not sent in to rescue the people there first? 4. Does she realise that hundreds of thousands of people who work down there are oblivious to world councils, ETs below their feet, and just think they are working on an underground military base to hide from the Russians. Now, according to her, they're all gone. I'm sure their loved ones and partners are going to love that statement. 5. There is vast quantities of food and supplies in those bases, both of which we may well need in these coming struggling times. 6. The World Council are not all humans. And this is where her lack of knowledge comes in. They can trick our brains into thinking they're human when they are not. 7. Why is she not following the new galactic guideline of transmute people, not kill people? It works, and she herself has felt much benefit from that. 8. Kim and her team are resembling the continuation of the past loop covered in the 100 series. It didn't work then and will not work now. 9. Some of those beings have been here longer than us, and Kim's lack of knowledge of ET matters is not conducive to making these types of decisions for humanity or them. You have to remember, Kim sat with Marduk for years, oblivious to who or what he was. And that was why she went onto the internet to find out more details of people who knew, and eventually found me and Shane the Runer. Kim said something to me back in 2018. If I had listened to your show, if you were doing it between 2009 and 2012, I would have thought you were nuts talking about all these ETs. And now she's in a position that decides who lives and who dies with no learned knowledge, only partially remembered sound bites from me, in part Shane, and also Chloe. I hate to say it, but Chloe knew a vast amount more of the ET narrative than Kim ever has. And that's not a slight on Kim. It's okay to not know shit. But what's worse is when you act like you know it when you don't. That is the weakness. The strength is to admit you don't know something. But these are fairly serious oversights going on here. And it's not something I would ever have gone along with. And some people don't like or want to hear the narrative in our shows because it's too deep into the core of truth is why. But it's all about the balance. Something not observed this past 6 months, it seems. And maybe that is the real reason why I was shunted out through zero fault of my own. Because much of my solutions, narratives and ideals are based not on emotional thinking, but overview thinking, this tends to lead to far less mistakes. This is serious stuff, and it goes way beyond just wiping people out. And some serious discord needs to be done here before both sides turn this planet into dust. Real leaders do not discount or disregard good people without cost to themselves, something largely overlooked here I feel. And unless Kim gets her act together with proper, balanced, knowledgeable people for each task, not lackeys and yes people, instead of this Marvel-style Neo character, we will all end up like those in the 100 series. And for her, the line in the show will be, "Your fight is over."